Thanks, Norma and Jerry. A very important ruling this morning in the trial of two former Cincinnati police officers charged with a cover-up in the Kevin Schroeder case. Fired Officer Mark Taylor and retired Sergeant James Lamping are charged with obstruction of justice. They allegedly covered up the fact that off-duty Officer Schroeder had been drinking the night of a fatal wreck last year. Schroeder was convicted Friday of vehicular homicide, but was acquitted on DUI charges. Schroeder's hospital blood test, which showed him above the legal DUI limit, was not allowed to be used as evidence in his trial. However, Judge Fred Cartolano said it can be allowed in the trial of the two ex-cops.
On Capitol Hill, budget negotiators are at it again this morning, trying to come to an agreement on how to cut the deficit. But as NBC's Henry Champ tells us, there are big disagreements over who should pay and how much.
At Sunday meetings, Sununu was as optimistic as everyone else, thinking he had made a deal with the president's offer to raise the tax rate, but the Democrats wanted more. They want a tax surcharge of 7.5% on millionaires, limits on the tax deductions for the wealthy, and relief for Medicare recipients.
And that the proceeds from that be used to reduce the adverse effect on the elderly beneficiaries under Medicare, particularly the poor elderly, and to reduce the amount of any gas tax that may be required.
Republicans say they've gone far enough.
I just finished talking to the president 30 seconds ago. He will not accept their last offer.
Although Sununu and other White House negotiators never returned to the meetings, congressional leaders did and said they were still hopeful.
Like I said, it wasn't off. We're all here.
If the Congress does not reach an agreement by midnight on Wednesday, federal government is supposed to shut down.
Another showdown between the president and Congress is heating up over a new civil rights bill. Bush is expected to veto the bill today because he says it encourages companies to set up quotas. Congress said it'll try to override that veto, but it's unclear whether they have enough votes. A major confrontation is heating up in the Persian Gulf right now. The Navy says U.S. and Australian ships have stopped an Iraqi tanker, and sailors are getting ready to board it. This is the second time in 3 days this ship has been stopped. It's already defied orders to return to Iraq, and yesterday it ignored warning shots from a U.S. destroyer.
And at 11:39, that's going to do it from Studio B for now.
And we're going to go back to Jerry and Norma for all the fun down at Fountain Square right after this.
Jerry, thanks a lot. In the news this afternoon, the Loveland man's on the operating table today to give himself, as well as others, a better chance at life.
You see, 40-year-old John Kerr is about 500 pounds overweight. He's having about 100 pounds surgically removed, and as News 5's Lisa Cooney reports, the skin will be donated to burn victims.
This is 40-year-old John Kerr. His appearance tells his story. But there's more to this man than the 780 pounds of weight that surround him. John is about to have an operation that will help him be able to do the very basic of things, like walk.
The whole stomach, it just limits everything I do. My walking and my sleeping, everything.
Over the years of dieting, John developed a large skin flap where his stomach is. The flap, called a paniculus, eventually dropped and fell away from his body. John hopes the surgery to remove the flap will give him a second chance at life.
More mobile, able to drive, just ride and everything. Get up and do regular duty work,
Now, it's hard for you and I to imagine just what John has been living through. But Dr. Summerseedy tells me this flap of skin that John will have removed weighs between 100 and 150 pounds.
To get the idea of what that is, a person of normal weight to take, say, a computer terminal and tie it to their body, and no matter what they do or where they go, sleep or awake, it has to stay with them, pulling on them all the time.
Doctors will use a laser similar to this one to remove the flap. The skin will be donated to help burn patients. It's the first time in Cincinnati history that skin tissue has been taken from a live donor.
And that's pretty unique, to donate this size of flesh for use by more unfortunate people than he is.
I hope it does what I want it to, so I can get out and do some things, So just sitting around all the time.
Be back to your old self, huh?
Right.
Lisa Cooney, News 5 Today.
And John Kerr's surgery began just a couple of hours ago. About the same time that the rally on Fountain Square got started, and as we can see, it's still going on, right, Norma? Jerry, Greg?
That is it from Studio B.
We'll get back to all those celebrations at Riverfront Stadium and at Fountain Square in just a moment. First, the other top stories of the day today. Officials at Dater Junior High School are under fire tonight after students there were shown a violent, bloody film in class. The video is called 3 Faces of Death. It depicts actual events that are considered so gruesome that most video stores in Hamilton County refuse to carry it. 3 Faces of Death was shown to 8th graders at Dater as part of an English project. The idea was to show violent crimes to students and then have them write papers on capital punishment. Some parents are outraged about this, though.
Saw the 3 Faces of Death. I said I saw about 30 seconds of that movie, and I mean I couldn't even finish watching it. It was disgusting. I mean it horrified me, you know, and I cannot even imagine why they would be showing this to 13-year-old children.
The principal at Dater Junior High says students were given the option of either going to the library and were not forced to watch the video. However, the video will not be shown again at that school.
Despite threats from Hamilton County Sheriff Simon Leis, the movie Henry and June stayed open tonight. Henry and June is the first film to get the NC-17 rating because of its adult content and lesbian sex scenes. This afternoon at Showcase Cinemas, it was almost sold out because people were afraid Sheriff Leis might close it down. After seeing the movie, many wondered what the fuss was all about.
Certainly the sex scenes were not offensive, and certainly, in my opinion, not anywhere near what you could call pornographic.
Channel 9 tried to reach Sheriff Leis this afternoon with no luck, so it's not clear whether his investigators were in the crowd of 300 moviegoers.
We're going to go back down to the crowd that's at Riverfront Stadium still. There's still a lot